Kraken Home Ice is sponsored by Primera Blue Cross, always in your corner.
First of 4 meetings this season, the Seattle Kraken and the Calgary Flames.
And Stevenson scores! Chandler Stevenson, his first goal as a Seattle Kraken, has tied it. Zary right on to Gourde twice.
Joey Gourde outstanding tonight. The Flames, the Kraken, go to overtime.
Montour gets it. Eberle scores! Hey, hey, what do you say?
As this frozen frenzy continues with the Avalanche and the Kraken. Loose in front on a backhand score! Jared McCann ties the game at 1.
And that's 100 for Jared McCann as a Seattle Kraken, the first ever in franchise history to have 100 goals.
Game 4 of a 5-game homestand. Beniers with a shot. He scores! Matty Beniers has his first goal of the season. The Carolina Hurricanes are in town for their only appearance of the season. William Carrier with a shot stopped a couple of times by Gourde. Breakaway. McCann, his second of the game. He scores!
The Kraken are off to one of their best starts to a season, and they just wrapped up their first homestand. Welcome to another edition of Kraken Home Ice. We'll talk to head coach Dan Bylsma about that homestand. It was a memorable one for Jared McCann, who became the first Kraken player to score 100 goals. McCann and Yanni Gourde are 2 of the original members of the Seattle Kraken. We'll hear from Yanni coming up. Plus, we know how hard these players work on and off the ice. But part of staying in shape is about how they fuel their bodies. We'll hear from the head chef at 32 Bar and Grill here at the Iceplex, who's in charge of feeding the team. But first, before we get to all those features, let's get to some action from last Saturday and the overtime win over the Calgary Flames. The win against the Flames was the Kraken's first victory over Calgary at Climate Pledge Arena in franchise history. Their first goal of the night came on a power play. Chandler Stevenson with a rocket. That's his first goal as a Kraken. Then, with the game tied 1-1 in overtime, Brandon Montour takes a shot, gets the rebound, and passes to Jordan Eberle. The captain buries it. The Kraken win it 2-1 in overtime. On Tuesday, it was the NHL Frozen Frenzy. All 32 teams are playing on one night. At Climate Pledge Arena, the Kraken took on the Avalanche. The Kraken had a strong first period. Head coach Dan Bylsma called it one of the team's best periods this season. But Colorado goes on to win it 3-2. On Thursday, the Kraken faced the undefeated Winnipeg Jets. Matty Beniers gets the Kraken on the board, but Winnipeg counters with 3 straight goals. The Jets go on to win it in OT 4-3, but a strong showing from the Kraken.
It's loose. Beniers with a shot. He scores! Matty Beniers!
Thursday was a big night for Matty Beniers. He scored his first goal of the season. Beniers tapped in a pass from Brandon Montour late in the third. A clutch goal to tie the game at 3. A Joey Gourde moment from the Kraken's win against Calgary went viral, but it wasn't for one of his many saves in that game. It was for his celebration after Jordan Eberle's overtime goal. Joey tried to jump in to celebrate with his teammates, but came in a little hot and fell to the ice. Gourde's explanation, he had the zoomies.
Got excited, we won. Let's go. That's pretty much it.
The Kraken will be without Vince Dunn until at least November 12th. Dunn had been day-to-day with a mid-body injury. On Monday, the Kraken placed the defenseman on long-term injured reserve, which means he has to miss at least 10 games or 24 days. The last time he played was October 17th against the Flyers. The earliest he can return is November 12th against the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Loose in front on a backhand score! Jared McCann ties the game at 1.
The goal of the week goes to Jared McCann. He made history against the Colorado Avalanche, scoring his 100th Kraken goal. McCann is the first Kraken player to light the lamp 100 times with the franchise. McCann and Gourde are two of the players that help make that Kraken offense go. Ariel Ursuto caught up with Gourde to talk about the importance of team identity.
He'll rethink it, shoot it, stepped in! Yanni Gourde! The pepper pot! Controlled by Yanni Gourde. Swings it towards the net. Score! Yanni Gourde!
Yanni Gourde is one of the few, the proud, the original Kraken. He's seen the team in its inaugural season, a playoff push, and a third-year slump.
We kind of try to build an identity from the start and a culture here, so it's very exciting knowing that we're still pushing that this forward and the culture of this organization, and we want to win. I think we're relentless, we play fast, and I think like the games that we are successful are the game that we play the fastest, and we're single-minded. We go north and in the old zone, and then we make our plays there. When we play slow, that's when we kind of get a little bit more in trouble.
He said the young team is still trying to find that identity in the first few weeks.
It's still a process, but we're definitely seeing parts of games that it's there, and when it happens, there's a good stretch of games where we're dominating and we're looking really good. So we got to keep pressing that pace and pushing the pace and making sure that we keep going.
Gourde has been an alternate captain all 4 seasons with the Kraken. He says his leadership is best shown through pushing his team in adverse times.
I just want to help this team win every time I go on the ice. I want to set the identity, set the pace. I'm trying to bring this team into the fight. That's probably what my strongest suits are.
Yanni Gourde moves in. Scores!
Yanni Gourde is also a leader when it comes to player safety, wearing neck protection after the death of a former NHL player last year.
With what happened, a bunch of guys in the league kind of started doing it, and also whenever I felt comfortable after using it a few times in practice, felt comfortable, so I started wearing one for games. So that's kind of how it started.
The AHL made it a requirement for all players to don the safety accessory this season, but Gourde says it should be a choice at the highest level.
It's okay the way it is right now. If you want to wear it, you wear it. If you don't, then you're uncomfortable, then don't.
Coming up on Kraken Home Ice, we'll go one-on-one with head coach Dan Bylsma to talk about the team's first homestand.
You're in constant adjustment to the situation, to the personnel, to what's happening in the game. It's not a static game. It's ever flowing, it's ever changing. It's never the same way twice.
Perfetti for the front Pionk. Oh, what a save! Joey Gourde, his best of the season.
Joey Gourde with a monster save in Thursday's game against Winnipeg earns him the save of the week. At the beginning of the second period, Joey dives for save number 1. The Jets try again moments later. Gourde stones him again. As the Kraken wrap up their first homestand of the season, head coach Dan Bylsma learned a few things about his team, and one of them was resiliency.
We had some tough games, and just to see the guys have some success, build in that success, believe in that success. You know, the Colorado first period was our best period of the year, and I think what it says to everybody and what it says to the guys is that when we play well, we can play with anybody, we can beat anybody, and you know, you saw that throughout this homestand.
Yeah, I found that interesting that you pinpointed that first period against Colorado where you outshot the Avs but didn't get any goals and didn't have anything really to show for it, but your players must have been feeling it. You know what? That was a pretty darn good period.
Well, that was even the mindset after that period. You know, going out for the second is, you know, if we keep playing that way, success will come. And maybe it doesn't come at the end of 60 minutes, but if we can play that way, if we can play that way for 60 minutes, we're going to be a really tough team to play against, and we're going to get a lot of wins playing that way.
During the homestand, let's talk about situational coaching, because I thought it was just a really impressive move by you as the head coach to call a timeout in the middle of the game when you had a 5-on-3 and really just strangle that moment, just take total advantage of that moment. Tell me what went into that thinking.
Well, it was a bit of a slog of a game, to be quite honest. There wasn't a lot of events happening in the game, scoring chances for and against on either side of the ledger. And, we had gotten to a point in the game, even be it the second period, that that power play was critical for us to have success in the game. And it's probably no better time to call a timeout when you have that possibility of the 5-on-3. It's super important. I think, what's the success rate of a 5-on-3? It's 38% historically, but it feels like you need to score in the game at that point in time. And so just taking a deep breath, taking a timeout, getting on the same page, and hopefully you cash in with the opportunity.
All right, you talk about percentages there, and you and I have had a quick chat about this before, but you also have had some opportunities to pull your goalie this year. The percentage of pulling a goalie, that's all kind of analytics, isn't it?
Analytics, yeah, and they're numbers that I can't say I fully understand, to be honest, but they're facts. Pulling the goalie 2 down, the analytics say a certain time. 3 down, it says 6 minutes to pull the goalie at, and even though it seems like an awful lot of time, and it's difficult to manage 6 minutes with 6-on-5 pulling your goalie, but that's what the analytics say, and I'm pulling my goalie a little sooner than I would have done 10 years ago because of the numbers. When
you see that, as a viewer and a fan, you're going, man, these guys must have to practice all of these situations. So, I mean, do you just pick times? You can't possibly practice all of these situations in one practice. So it's just kind of like one of those things where it's a revolving deal, isn't it?
It is. It's, talking about situations, games that don't, especially 6-on-5, don't happen that often. You don't want them to happen that often. But you got to be prepared for the personnel going out, how you're going to be applying it. You're in constant adjustment and to the situation, to the personnel, to what's happening in the game. It's not a static game. It's ever flowing, it's ever changing. It's never the same way twice. And you got to be ready with all those scenarios. Both player and the coach has to be ready for all those scenarios when they come.
Chandler Stevenson has made a name for himself since joining the Kraken. We'll hear from the center about the lessons he's learned in the league. In this week's shootout, we ask players what's the most memorable advice they've received as hockey players. That's next on Kraken Home Ice.
Hey guys, Brandon here. Chandler here. Just getting ready to go to the game. We're going to stop at Starbucks here and grab a quick cup of coffee and head to the game. Like a glove. Look at this. We're going to get a medium cold brew. Okay. Make it a Nitro, it's game day. Nitro game day. He wants to be fired up. Hold up the line. Okay. Coming. Bring it there, window up here for you. Thank you, sir.
Couple players having some fun there. Chandler Stevenson was one of the prize free agents signed by the Kraken in the offseason. Chris Egan had a chance to catch up with him here at the Iceplex.
McCann, Stevenson, scores! Chandler Stevenson, his first goal as a Seattle Kraken.
Chandler Stevenson may be new to Seattle, but he's not new to hockey. Stevenson recently played in his 500th game.
Taps it back for Chandler Stevenson. Montour, here it comes, he scores!
Can't really put it into words because it's, I never expected that. I just wanted to play in the NHL someday. I haven't thought about, I want to play this many games or do this or do that. You just want to play in the NHL. So to be living out, fulfilling a childhood dream is, very special.
Chandler Stevenson with a beautiful pass to Oliver Bjorkstrand.
Stevenson grew up in Saskatchewan in a hockey family. He says he was pretty much on the ice every single day with his big brother.
It's just something that we love doing. We're always competitive, always having fun, and when you're from Saskatchewan, that's about all you can do year-round, so that was something that we spent all of our time doing.
In 2012, Stevenson was drafted by the Washington Capitals. In 2018, he helped the Caps win a Stanley Cup title. One Stanley Cup is nice.
The Golden Knights are Stanley Cup champions.
Stevenson won a second with Vegas in 2023.
I had no expectations the first one, so yeah, to be able to win a second one and just kind of understanding a little bit more and knowing a little bit more about how hard it is was really cool to get to experience.
The season is still young, but Stevenson says this Kraken team has all the right ingredients to make a push towards their first title.
The biggest thing that I found was the culture, and that's what it seems like they got here. Everybody gets along, everybody competes, having a little bit of confidence for everyone, a little bit of swagger, and you kind of need a little bit of everything. And yeah, I think the makeup's there.
And it doesn't hurt having players like Stevenson, who not only know what it takes to win, but also know what it takes to survive a long season.
You just got to bring your best every day. So I think kind of figuring out the mental side of it, that helped a lot. And you just got to look at it as trying to get better, trying to be better than you were the night before, and not let emotions and all that get too high. And obviously the grind of the season, not let it get you down and too low.
Here's Chandler, Stevenson, partial 3-on-1. Stevenson, Bjorkstrand, he scores!
It's likely to this day you remember a coach or a mentor giving you some words of wisdom that had an impact on your life. In this week's shootout, we asked some Kraken players what's the best advice a coach has ever given them.
Just be yourself. Stick to kind of what got me to where I am, and I think that's probably the best.
Probably just be patient. I think for me personally, I'm someone that I have a sense of urgency. I like to, if I'm chasing something, I want it to get it as fast as possible. And I think something that's really helped me is just learning to be patient and learning to work for what I've gotten. And that's probably been some of the best, advice that I've gotten that's helped shape who I am today and the hockey player I am today.
Honestly, the best advice I was probably ever given was just work hard and to just focus on the good things around me, surround myself with good people, and focus on the goal, and then let the fun come second.
Just enjoy the moment.
Be myself, I would say. Just show your identity, show who you are. It's probably one of the best advice I've had. I've also had advice where slow down, Gourde, you're doing everything too fast, but I think that's part of who I am, so I gotta commit to who I am.
Just have fun. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I think that's a pretty cool one.
Just be yourself.
Practice like your second, play like your first.
Hockey players are constantly working to improve their game, and a huge part of being at their best is making sure they have the proper fuel. We talked to the executive chef at 32 Bar and Grill about what he cooks up for the team.
Assist of the Week is sponsored by Primera Blue Cross, always in your corner.
Hammered by Montour, tipped in, Matty Beniers! Hey, what do you say?
The assist of the week goes to Brandon Montour. Monty came up clutch in Thursday's game against Winnipeg when he hammered a shot to Matty Beniers, who redirected the puck into the net. That goal forced overtime. Monty already making a difference for the Kraken. Whether it's in the weight room or on the ice, hockey players are constantly working on improving their game. And off the ice, a big part of that is nutrition. We talked to executive chef Brandon, the mastermind behind the meals that fuel the Kraken.
Getting prepared for game day starts way before any player even touches the ice. A huge part of performing at the highest level is making sure the players are eating the best quality organic foods. For the Kraken, their meals come together in the kitchen of 32 Bar and Grill, where Chef Brandon Cathy is in charge of player meals on practice and home games.
They're focused in on their calorie intake. Some of these guys are trying to put on weight. Some of these guys are just trying to maintain their weight.
Chef Brandon's love for food started when he was young, and he eventually learned to cook in kitchens throughout high school.
I love food, I love the flavors. I grew up in Arizona, so lots of Mexican culture and a lot of those ingredients I really love. So I wanted to learn how to make it.
The executive chef pulls a lot of inspiration from the Pacific Northwest and the foods that grow locally.
The Pacific Northwest has everything, arguably some of the best things in the world, like their oysters and the Dungeness crab. Some of these ingredients you can only get here, and it was part of the reason why I moved up here.
Since 2021, Chef Brandon has been collaborating with the team's dietitian to make sure the menus include healthy organic meals to fit the players' specific dietary needs and preferences.
What we really try to do is just focus in on healthy fats and making sure there's no chemicals on their food, making sure it's organic, making sure that everything is prepared properly. Like I said, I like to do open fire cooking, so imparting just a little bit of smoke on a piece of protein goes a long way without having to, kind of take it apart and re-engineer it and turn it into something else. You can make something really delicious just by grilling it over coals.
The players eat a majority of their meals at the Iceplex, so Chef Brandon knows not to mess with their precise routines.
Whenever they have a game day, they're very locked in, right? And they have been doing the same routine for a very long time. So we try not to mess with the routine. We give them grilled chicken and grilled salmon and steamed broccoli and cauliflower and like a chicken noodle soup and pasta. So they like to carb load a little bit. The actual spread for game day is immense. But we want to make sure that everyone gets what they need.
Healthy is always the top priority, but Chef Brandon gets to flex his creative muscles with the guys, who fancy themselves foodies as well.
These guys love the same food I love, so that makes it pretty easy. They're well-rounded as far as cuisine, and they're foodies. They travel from city to city and eat at the best hotels and get the best food, so I want to make sure that I'm matching that and going above and beyond. I think the whole team is really focused on making sure that the players have what they need and what they want to.
It's spooky season, and to celebrate, the Kraken are hosting a Halloween-themed public skate. The event for ages 4 and up is happening Sunday at the Kraken Community Iceplex. Grab your favorite Halloween costume and skates to try curling pumpkins at 1 p.m., followed by a spooky public skate at 1:30. As the Kraken head out on the road, there's still a lot happening at Climate Pledge Arena. On Tuesday, Maggie Rogers brings the Don't Forget Me tour to Seattle with special guest Ryan Beatty. Then on Saturday, Grammy-nominated artist Porter Robinson is performing. So now that the Kraken have wrapped up their 5-game homestand, they'll hit the road for 5 starting Tuesday in Montreal. And that'll do it for this episode of Kraken Home Ice. You can catch us Saturday nights at 10:30 on Kong or Sunday nights at 11:35 on King. Thanks for looking in. We'll see you next week.
Kraken Home Ice is sponsored by Primera Blue Cross.